All right, everybody, I'm going to do a separate. I feel like this is kind of not only needed, and not needed for anybody else but me, but kind of like a way for me to get out my thoughts and maybe get some feedback on things aside from The Mandalorian. So I'm just going to do this real quick about Baby Yoda himself. From the previous videos, you know that, my supposition of who and what Baby Yoda is. I'm leaning towards that he's a clone from, the DNA or the remaining knowledge that the Emperor had of Grandmaster Yoda, because the reason why I say that is been documented in other videos, but I'll kind of hit the high points here, is that the Emperor, when he basically defeated the Jedi and took everything over, made his point of headquarters inside what was the Jedi Temple. So he had access to their entire wealth of knowledge, the history, everything they collected, good, bad, or indifferent, from all the thousands of years prior of the Galactic Republic. They had everything from the wars to the first Sith Wars to the Mandalorian Wars to the Old Republic with Revan, yada yada. So not only did the Emperor have years and years and years of full, unvetted, unfettered access to all of that, but the Doctor, who has appeared in the episodes, is wearing, of course, a medically designed or medically familiar type outfit, but the patch that's on his shoulder represents the Cloners Guild on Kamino, which is from episode 2. They're the ones that mass-produced all the Jango Fett clones, which made the original clone army. That's where Boba Fett came from. The reason why I'm trying to lean that way is because I don't know. I mean, I know, I'm hoping maybe, if I'm wrong, that they explain something new about this, because everything we currently know up to, such a point is that even when the Jedi were in the thousands, children didn't know they were Force sensitive. They had, Jedi sought them out and sought out, them to be trained. People who were Force sensitive at first didn't realize they were Force sensitive. People who were trained in the Force knew how to seek out Force sensitives. The thing that's thrown me for a loop here is Baby Yoda, of course, I don't think knows how powerful he is or technically what he's doing. It looks to me, it's almost instinctive. So unless they explain that, like, Yoda's race is, like, turns out to be the most connected to the Force over any species in the galaxy, like they're predisposed to have the highest midi-chlorian count that there is in any known species, kind of like Yoda was. Yoda, the reason why they thought Anakin was the chosen one is because he was the only one in recorded history that had a midi-chlorian count higher than Master Yoda. And Master Yoda, per canon, had the highest ever recorded. But Anakin, even at that level, did not know what the Force technically was until it was pointed out to him. He just knew he had really good reflexes and other skill sets that most people didn't have. But he didn't know, okay, I can use the Force. Baby Yoda in episode 2 and now in episode 6, he used the Force in episode 2 and he was about to use the Force in episode 6. So nobody's taught him that. It's almost, it's instinctive. It's coming across that this baby just knows what it can do to a certain degree. It just knows it has powers, so it just uses it because he's never been trained. I mean, he's a fucking infant. He doesn't even have all of his teeth yet. Yet he knew that the Mando was was in trouble in episode 2, and he had to do something. And you saw what he did. I mean, hell, he picked up the mud horn and levitated him in the air for a really long time. And he just knew how to do it. And when the Mando was hurt at the beginning of the episode, he just knew to go over to him, hold his hand up. He was going to heal him. So that's why I'm saying either he is for sure a clone of the strongest and greatest Force user in known history, or they're going to have to explain that the species that Yoda is from and this baby is from, they are just naturally the most connected species to the Force that there is. There's only one of two ways to go. They can't explain it any other way. With Yoda's species, and this might be a reason why George Lucas is for 40 plus years been very ambiguous when it came to Yoda and his history, is because you can kind of almost storybook your way into a brick wall, meaning that you've only got a few ways to spin the creation or the lineage of his race, because you have already proved for years and years and years that if there's a hierarchy of powerful people in the Force and in the Jedi Order and stuff like that, or Force users in general, you've always put Yoda at the top of that food chain. So you can't retcon almost 30 years of this is the understood way. If you do, A, it's a slap in the face. B, it's just it would just, good Lord, I can't even think about it. But of all the people that have used the Force, big, small, in between, it's always been presented Yoda's the top of the food chain. That's it. And there's Yoda, then there's everybody below him. Hell, even when they did comparisons to Revan, to Yoda, Revan was the dude in his time. There was nobody bigger in his time. But even in his time, Yoda not only was the strongest in his timeline, but the strongest in recorded history, which means even bigger and stronger than Revan. So that's the only way I've been sitting here just trying to contemplate and think about it, but that's it. So Luke knew he had reflexes. Luke knew he knew things, and he was more skilled than, he was a skilled pilot, same like his dad. Anakin was a skilled pilot. That's how Qui-Gon picked up on it. But again, Qui-Gon and all these people had to point out to Anakin that you have the possibility to do this. He had to be trained to use the Force. Little baby Yoda is just doing it like it's nothing. So I'm don't know. I guess at this point I'm rambling, but I'm like, I'm eager to find out how they explain this, but they can only really, in my eyes, explain it either one of two ways for it to not only be believable, but also, honor the story before and how they put Yoda, because Yoda, they put him in in a Neo from the Matrix type of mysticism, and I don't want them to undercut Yoda with some bullshit explanation as to how this is happening. So my vote would be, hey, the reason why the Empire wanted this kid dead is because they knew he basically from the working DNA pattern of the greatest light-sided Force user of all time. The Emperor had different plans for it to see if he could convert him. The Emperor's gone, so this kid's got to go because he's too big of a risk to everything. Because the kid's way too powerful. I'm sorry, he's an infant doing all these things. If he grows, good Lord. But I don't know, we will see. But like I said, I just had to make this and just say okay, maybe if anybody out there, can add additional thoughts or something like that, or maybe some viewpoints, or maybe a different explanation that they think is going to be more legit than what I'm saying. I definitely would like to know it and hear it, because, at the end of the day, that's what I love hearing, is that somebody out there is definitely going to be always smarter than me. So if we can put it together, I'd sure like to know, because the thing I'm wondering is, like, hell, where is this kid in the timeline of The Force Awakens and Last Jedi and now Rise of Skywalker? This is only 25 years prior, and I think they would. I don't think they can possibly have this baby, kill this baby off. I think it would be the most horrific backlash known to man if they, somehow make it to where Baby Yoda eventually, is brought to his demise. I just, so I maybe send him off somewhere or something happens to him other than death, because if not, then where the hell is he in the added, the further timeline? So anyway, I'm gonna start rambling at this point. So hope the thoughts make sense. If not, we will definitely find out one way or the other.